just as normal. And in this live, I'll do something slightly differently, and I'll introduce you guys to a bunch of things I'm trying new. But the core idea of this live is I'm going to talk about a couple of different things. I want to talk about some of my new learning, some of the things that I'm currently learning, going through my head, etc. So one thing that I've been learning for a little bit as part of my work and personal development is this concept about 1 hour rule. So I'll be talking a little bit about that, and I'll be talking about another concept about these the positive affirmation and how that changes your mindset and how you actually feel about your work, your thoughts, and the direction you're heading and things like this. So we're gonna talk about that as well a little bit. I've got a little bit of note, and one of the reasons, guys, I'm doing live is because this allows me to just talk unfiltered, unedited, and I can just record and keep this live. Maybe some of these snippets will become useful over time. Maybe it wouldn't, but it's one way to connect and share some of my thoughts. I already do some of these stuff with my team, and I am experimenting with these lives. So, and we might talk about a whole bunch of other things as well. All right, so we will talk about uh, these things like personal productivity and a little bit of the affirmation stuff. But I also want to share with you. It'll work like a vlog. The idea of these lives are sort of work like a vlog, and see what happens. So yeah. So to kick off, guys, I'm actually experimenting a bunch of different things. I was actually traveling for about a week or so back on my office. So I'm sitting on my office desk right here. You can see this is my desk right here, and a little bit new setup because I'm using a new tripod, which is kind of cool. It's not a tripod; it's like a monopod, but it gets really tall, which is really nice. So that gives me more flexibility to move around. So I can literally just move this around wherever I like, which is kind of nice. The other thing is also I'm experimenting with a new microphone. I've got a kind of a weird setup at the moment. I'm just setting it set up here. It's a little new microphone. Hopefully, this has some improvement to before. One thing I really love about YouTube is that this is like a little timestamp of what has happened in my life at the time, or you can't remember everything. And obviously, there's a lot of private stuff. I'm working with clients, I'm working with team members. Not everything I can share. However, some things I literally can just record and capture. This is something I love. It's not AI, it's just me talking. And over the last, I guess, 5 6 months, we've got a lot of subscribers. So 2 3 thousand people being on my channel is a lot. I think we get like hundreds of thousands of views, which is kind of very strange given that I actually don't put in that much effort in editing and things like this just yet. It's pretty simple, just raw thoughts, raw ideas that I'm sharing with you guys, etc. So let me have a look here. A couple of different things quickly. Um, okay, so the format is new and different. It's the first time actually I am sharing it in this horizontal format, so that's new. And I'm having to look between myself and the camera, so it's kind of new as well. So um, hopefully, some of the stuff that I share stays back, and you guys can come back and visit, revisit, etc. We can re-edit, repurpose, etc. So anyhow, so coming back to it, guys, what's going through my head right now as I speak? So there are two things. Actually, let me give you some more info. So this time, one thing I will try to do slightly differently is I get quite distracted when people come in on live. So right now, there's not a lot of people here, which is great. So I can just talk and I can record. That's really nice. But when there are some people that comes in, then it becomes a little tricky for me because I'm often trying to figure out how to answer and also keep my thoughts organized and stuff like this. So it's a little bit new, a little bit different. But let's actually just share with you some of my recent learning, recent thought in general. And if you have any questions, just drop it in here. And let's try and do this here. If you have any questions, just drop it in here. What I will do is I will go through them and try to answer them towards the end. Okay, so to the topic, guys. So one of the things that I have found the most helpful in the recent past about personal productivity is this concept of 1 hour rule. So if you're on my channel, you'll see there's a playlist with 50 or 60 videos about this subject called 1 hour rule. And I go to the playlist, I listen to 5-10 minutes of the video every morning, take a little bit of note, and start my day, work day like that. And I've been teaching myself about having this 1 hour. And you would find it's actually much more difficult than very difficult than you think to have the same hour every single day without interruption. And the concept is not just to have 1 hour, but the idea is to sit for an hour and focus. Do your most important, most valuable work. Do it in a systematic way. So the very first video on the channel is like a AI dubbing of Elon Musk's ideas, and I do remember some of the key topics that I learned first from the first video, and it was all about this idea that you should set aside an hour for yourself. It's the same time every day, same chair, same notebook, same computer, same system, same operating system, same pen, and you just fire, you just go, you just do your thing, right? And it's actually really hard to do same time every day. And it's not hard because it's hard to find momentum, but it's hard because it's actually very hard to stop leakage. So when you start having your 1 hour rule, you'll find that what's really hard is not creating the hour, but the distraction all around you. So depending on your circumstance, where you were working from, and what's your situation, you might find it really easy to actually find that time, or you might not. If we're students, a lot of the distraction is ourselves. You know, your phone. You know, you've got to learn how to make your phone less distracting. Right. One of the things I've been trying lately is I've got my phone in completely on black and white mode. So I am using my phone black and white all day, every day, apart from occasional, you know, excuse me, occasional, apart from occasional color whenever I need. For example, when I'm doing this video, I need to see a little bit more, so I'm just using the color mode. But in most cases, I'm using the black and white mode. So you got to turn off your notifications. You got to make sure that you're not interrupted by people around you. So you got to train them so they don't interrupt. You got to train yourself to show up, and you got to show up with energy, right? If you didn't have good sleep, if you didn't work out, you're not gonna feel good. Sometimes I rely on a little bit of coffee. Sometimes it's workout. Sometimes it's a cold shower. Whatever it is, I just start and just keep going. And that's the idea. So I'll recommend you guys to do something very similar. I wanna stress the point that if you can have an hour for yourself every morning, it really gives you a tremendous amount of productivity. It's a big productivity hack. And you don't want to spend an hour just learning and things like this, anything, but if you have specific learning, it gives you motivation. For example, I'm learning about time management at the moment, amongst other things, and I take notes and I ask about a bunch of questions. I ask about, what are my key takeaways? What am I saying? Keep some of my decisions. What are going to be some actions? And one thing I found really helpful is also your listing down your distractions. Right? What are some of the distractions that I have? Mm, If you list down your distractions, you can combat them. Even just the simple consciousness about what distracts you when you're trying to focus really helps with your performance over time. Anyhow, so this morning I spent a bit of time about learning about the 1 hour rule, and there's generally it's Jim Rohn I'm listening to, or some of the other speakers in the playlist. And here are a few key takeaways from today's learning. First was this simple thing that breakthrough comes when you don't negotiate with your 1 hour rule. And that's a very important one. That's true. You cannot negotiate with your 1 hour. It's an appointment with yourself. You cannot negotiate with that. You got to really be focused. You really need to focus on that time and put yourself into the shoes of like your own client. You have to work with your own like future basically, and you have to give yourself that time. You cannot negotiate. No phone, no interruption, nothing. Got to happen. Jim said that make it your identity. You have to say I'm the kind of person that first thing in the morning I spend this time, no matter what happens. I focus, I work hard, and And for me, generally, it's 5 to 15 minutes. I do a little bit of learning, sometimes a little bit more. For today, I'm actually doing this video. A little bit after that, 1 hour, actually sat down for an hour. I spent 2 hours working, and then I thought maybe today is Sunday. It's actually a day off. I don't have any meeting or something like this. Maybe I'll do a meeting with myself, with the rest of the world. I just record a live session, which I might actually save and share and things like this. So you need to make it your identity. So productivity is much better. I think the quick hacks doesn't work. A little bit of a hack, you can do a little bit of this. You forget them. Unless you have a system of productivity that stays with you and you perform it every single day, this is not great productivity. So the things that really keeps me productive is a very solid routine. Like, I have a very solid routine. I don't call it a morning routine. I call it the eagle hour. It's like a high level hour where I actually do my workout, meditation, shower, a little bit of taking care of myself, food, breakfast, coffee sometime, eat vitamins, all of those sort of stuff. There's like a whole bunch of stuff, but there are like four really key things that I do in the morning that helps me get structured in the morning. The first one is waking up and working out right away. That's the first one. Second one is a cold shower after the workout. Third one is a little bit of meditation, and fourth one is a bit of journaling. And I do a voice journaling, guys, because sometimes it's very hard. So you can literally create a group chat with yourself, and what you can do is you can voice journal, right? So you can just voice record your thoughts. It's a great way to record a time stamp of what you've been doing. You can take little snaps, and things like this. I think it's much better than sharing on Facebook and things like this because it's private, it's for yourself, it's a little note. And when I journal, I also listen back to one of the old ones, and I'm gradually listening to items from 1 year back. It's very powerful. So anyhow, so that was my key takeaway. Those are some of the key takeaways. And Jim said that I don't need to feel great every day to make progress. It's very powerful. So you do not need great days, motivations, or inspirations, or anything to feel progress. For example, I'm doing this little live here, and there's not a lot of people here. I'm just simply recording, and maybe some of you will watch it at a different time when things like this. And I don't feel like there's a need to feel motivated every morning, and you don't need to feel good about your productivity, your 1 hour, things like this. You simply have to do it because it matters. Your discipline will carry you through the motivation threshold. You don't need any kind of motivation, right? Very important. Um, and another thing is, Jim was saying in a very old video, he was saying that you got to take action the next day. Today's 1 hour rule. When you spend an hour, you think, you plan, decide, things like this. I do a number of different things. I look at, I think, plan, I take a bit of action. So I would look at the key takeaways when I watch a video or something like this. What are my key takeaways? I'll look at those. Then I say to myself, ask myself some questions. Right? What are some questions from it? Then I make some decisions from the questions. All right. So my question was, am I using this properly? Can I improve this? Then I make a little decision, one, two, three decisions. And then I take an immediate action. Immediate action is very simple, guys. You can take a simple action of putting something on the calendar. That's an action. You can decide to change your alarm back a few minutes earlier. You can immediately share a voicemail to somebody. You can jump on videos like this one. Whatever it may be, you can take an action. Very simple action. And that allows you to be very action oriented rather than just head knowledge, just entertainment. I think when you watch something but you don't take an action, it's like head knowledge. It's what I call edutainment and entertainment with with a mask of an education. One thing I found recently is that a lot of people who gave up social media or reduced social media usage, they come to YouTube. They end up with YouTube because they think, first of all, YouTube is not entertainment. They think this is education. I'm learning something. But if you look through your history of YouTube, you'll see that most of the stuff you watched in the most recent past is not useful. It's the thing that YouTube served. In the past, it used to be a top search engine. It used to be like the second most search engine, biggest search engine. But I don't know if it's the same today with the advent of AI and things like that. So we probably use ChatGPT more. Personally, I use ChatGPT more and other AI tools more as a search engine. Google would be probably my third or fourth search engine. I come to YouTube second, probably. Um, But that said, a lot of times what I'm watching on YouTube is what YouTube has served rather than what I'm watching. So it is definitely my entertainment platform, more so than education. But I do use YouTube for educational purposes by creating a playlist and looking at that, right? So that really helps me. So guys, that's a really good motivation for me. That helps me learning from YouTube. And in the morning, it helps me by spending that hour that I'm learning about recently. So take action immediately. If you have a challenge, whatever challenge that may be, whether it be financial, physical, mental, relationship wise, whatever it may be, health, spend 90 minutes first thing every day. I forgot the name of the author who wrote the 5 a.m. club, and the monk who sold his Ferrari or something like that. I forgot the name of the author, but he has this concept. He says, spend the 90 minutes first thing in the morning on your most challenging task. And it will, after 30 days, it will not be challenging anymore. So if you have financial problems, spend 90 minutes on finances every morning. If you have relationship problems, spend 90 minutes on relationship every morning. While I say this, I'm not perfect on this. I'm not always. Whenever I've had, it made a big difference, right? So that's it. So anyhow, overall, I have a lot more I want to share, guys, but I want to keep it minimal. I'm getting some calls, so I've got to jump off, have some lunch and things like this, and have some lunch and things like this. But let me know what you guys think, how these form of recording comes across to you guys. I wanted to share a little bit about positive affirmation and things like this as well, but probably not today. Might have to circle back another time. But hopefully this was useful, guys. Let me know what you think. How did it come across? How can I improve, etc. A lot of times when I'm doing these videos, I'm also experimenting with a new concept. Hopefully the next one comes a little bit better with some new updates and things like this. So hope you enjoyed it. And if you're listening to it at a later point, um, just let me know, rewatch or something like this, or say something in the comment. I'd be happy to jump on calls with some of you guys who are listening. And these days I am really cutting down on worries about on views and likes and all that sort of stuff. I really want to focus on the people that I want to serve and work with you guys. And the people that I want to serve right now is large community of Bangladeshi youth who are growing up and coming and looking for building their careers and things like this, because we want to hire a lot of those people, work with together, my team and team people that I work with, and also the audience of the Western audience who runs and leads businesses, because we want to work with them in terms of business operation capacity and things like this. So those are the people I want to serve, and those are people I want to talk to. Views and likes does not matter. So I will try my best to come back every day and see how we can improve this to serve you guys better. So anyhow, hope you guys are well. Take care. Have a more productive day, and I'll chat to you all soon. Take care, everyone.